Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines Executive Director Chris Nelson joins us back for this month's chat. Chris, always a pleasure. Great to see you. Welcome back to Market Edge.
Thank you. It's very nice to be back, and good morning to you and all your viewers, and a happy Heroes holiday.
Yes. All right. So let's start with a big news story. You know, inflation clearly is a global issue. In the Philippines and in the UK. In the UK, inflation rose to another 40-year high in July, 10.1%. And the talk is it could actually hit 18% next year. The main culprit, higher food prices at supermarkets. As I mentioned, inflation is a global problem. The partnerships, Chris, that you're pushing for in food and beverage between UK companies and the Philippines, do you see that helping ease some of the pressure on both sides, the UK and the Philippine side, and how exactly?
Well, I think you've got to look at two things. So I think the one we're doing now, coming up, the virtual trade mission, which will be next month, which is focused on food and beverage from Kent. Frankly, that won't really assist in terms of inflation. That's more about developing partnerships. That's part of our long-term trend to boost trade and investment between the two countries, and also help small to medium-sized enterprises, which is one of the focuses also of the administration. I do, however, say that in one particular aspect, which is the meat sector, where the UK is now, the supply of pork to the Philippines, the first up until June, is up 37%. That is actually assisting in terms of, obviously, the inflation in that particular area. So I think there are challenges. I think the UK can assist, but not across all sectors. And the one that we're going to do, of course, is really developing long-term business partnerships, which will obviously assist both countries going forward.
All right. Just very quickly, Chris, could you give us a sense, when you talk about food and beverage partnerships, what sort of food are we talking about? These are manufactured processed food, right? Not agriculture products.
No. So we're looking at, obviously, branded spirits. We're looking at specific, for example, healthy snack products. We're looking at very much in terms of branded items, which can find a great market here in the Philippines. This is in conjunction with the Kent Council. It's going to cover all the southeast of the UK. We anticipate over 10 companies. And really, I think it shows our continuing push in terms of that sector, which we've kind of focused upon. And I think it also shows the continuing interest, obviously, the UK has in the Philippines. And we've seen that opportunities, and we think that'll be very much warmly received.
All right. Aside from food, there's also pressure on the energy side. For the UK, it's become a local issue. There's growing pressure for the government to drop emergency measures to try to protect households and businesses there from obscenely high power prices moving into winter. I always hear this, Chris, you know, Europe, UK, you guys are always saying there's just so much potential investment opportunities in RE, renewable energy, that British companies can help Philippines set up RE projects and so on. But RE doesn't seem to be working there, seeing as how prices have shot up.
Well, look, I think it's a question of short-term versus long-term. I mean, you're making a reference, obviously, to what's happening in the UK is the energy cap, they call it, and that's preventing very high bills to come forward. As you're probably aware, we're also in the midst of a leadership contest within the Conservative Party, the ruling party, which will then lead to the next Prime Minister. And as the current Prime Minister has stated, the next Prime Minister will be the one to launch a whole series of packages to support, you know, these very substantial increases. But I think what we always look here, and I think that's what the Chamber is always focused on, there are a lot of short-term challenges. I mean, I was listening intently to Jello's presentation on the stock markets. But I think what we look here is longer term. And I think what you're going to see longer term from this energy shock and crisis is obviously a move towards renewables and other forms of energy. As we discussed in your previous program, the UK has also reactivated or invested in a further nuclear station. So I think that will come through, but there's going to be obviously a lot of short-term pressures, and that has to be answered by the government.
All right. We don't have much time, Chris, so I want to move on to another topic. Trade deals. Your International Trade Minister, Anne-Marie Trevelyan, is on a 9-day tour of New Zealand and Australia following the signing of FTAs. I know I keep asking this question of you, but I'm hoping the answer finally changes. Is the FTA with the Philippines coming soon?
No, I would not say so. I'm sorry, I can't give you that answer. But I would say and make a comment about the developing countries tariff scheme, which was launched and announced on the 17th of August. That is actually a simplified version of the UK's general sales preferential tariffs. And I think it will assist. It's going to cover 56 developing countries, the Philippines is included.
Right.
And as our ambassador, Lord Beaufils, has said, this will be a further boost between and give great opportunities for trade between the Philippines and the UK. So, no, I don't see an FTA in the near term, but I do think that the developing countries tariff scheme, DCTS, is going to be a boost, and that the trade between the Philippines and the UK, as it has done, will continue to grow.
But what's the fundamental difference between the DCTS and the UK GSP?
Okay, so I think what the difference is, the UK was part of GSP, which is part of the European Union. Obviously, when we exited Europe, we rolled over a number of those arrangements, and that encouraged or allowed goods and services to continue to flow between the two countries. And now what we're looking at and what they've launched here is very similar. However, they've reduced a significant amount of what they said is the red tape, a significant amount in terms of countries of origins. So this therefore facilitates, obviously, getting more entry of goods and services into the UK. So it's a boost, and we warmly welcome it.
All right. And finally, Chris, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is going to mark his first 100 days in office in a month. That's in a month's time. But we're 2 months down. So far, how friendly has the business tone been as set by the Marcos administration? If you could tell us, what one thing or policy set by Mr. Marcos that you laud, that foreign investors really like, and one thing that you hope he will do or focus on in the short term for the foreign investors?
Sure. I'll give you 3 points if I can. First of all, I think his appointments on the economic team have been very good.
Okay.
I mean, Secretary Jogno, these are people we know, Secretary Pasquale, and also, of course, BSP Governor Medaglia. So these are very reassuring. I think in the State of the Nation address, what we thought was excellent was to state that the Philippines must become an investment destination.
All right.
I mean, we wholeheartedly support this. And we have obviously been working at it, and we'll continue to strongly work with an administration on that point. What we'd like to see, I think, in the next short period, is RCEP.
Okay.
We just had an event with Secretary Pasquale. He attended, and he reiterated that RCEP is one of the priorities. And obviously, we look forward to that. And I think at this moment, when we're all facing a lot of challenges across the world of various things, joining that the largest trading bloc, I think is a continuing signal of how the Philippines is going forward. And the liberalization, which started, to be fair, obviously, with the Duterte administration, we look forward to seeing continuing, obviously, with President Marcos' administration. So, yes, a very positive start.
All right. On that note, Chris, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much. We look forward to more news because you're having a virtual trade mission next month, and you're going to have a follow-up to your meet mission happening in December, correct?
Correct. Virtual trade mission, 15th, 16th of September.
Okay.
And most likely the follow-up event is on the 1st of December. So thank you very much again. And once again, happy holidays to everyone.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you soon, Chris.